was Cloud9 that rounded them out for comeback on the first map, but this time CLG managed to surmount the impossible, coming back from a 12-3 lead that C9 had off their first half. They won map number 2, and now we're going on to map number 3, Dust2, a CLG favorite. They win the pick on the randomizer. This is going to be it, guys. Once again, CLG versus Cloud9, the final map. One team will move on into the semifinals, and one team will be eliminated, and we'll go home tonight. My name is Blue. Joining me here is Moses. Let's talk a little bit about the final map.
Oh, this is going to be craziness. Yeah, I mean, it's a map that CLG looked good on earlier today, just off benefit of JDM. I mean, that's the thing. The rest of them didn't really have to show up because, I mean, they did, but they didn't have to because JDM was just so dominant on it. Are we going to see that again? Because that'd be huge for them. That might just, you know, get them the map, get them the series just off the back of just JDM. But also, I mean, Skadoodle came alive during Mirage, and on that CT side, it showed some of the first times we've seen in a while of him being that aggressive, like take control of the game opera on the CT side. Faded, I mean, they all faded off in the second half. They didn't get a single round on that T side of Mirage, which is really, really scary. But, I mean, if he's going to play well, if he's going to continue that onto this map, this is one of those maps he's notorious for just camping out basically a car, watching for that A hit. But it's also Stewie with that double up who's been effective. So if he's going to man down the other side of the map and have a double op setup, that's going to be really nice for C9. But yeah, this is essentially something that can just go either way.
And Stewie himself has been a much more, I mean, when you look at the two different styles of those two performing, you pick up the op, Stewie's much more aggressive. We saw him posting up inside of A main, back over on Cash there, constantly moving around there too when he needed to, back over inside of Quad. Really good at holding those angles when needed to be. So when they need that aggressive op, they can sort of find that in Stewie as well when need be on the secondary op.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, this is just going to be, I mean, it's just insane that these two comebacks have happened. Both these teams kind of vying. We mentioned it a couple times. There's never been any, it's been a while since we've had just a clear-cut favorite team in North America, and both of these teams at the moment vying for it. Together with Liquid, there's that kind of triumvirate of teams that haven't been able to wrestle the crown away from any of them. And this would go a long way for both of them. JDM needs to have a big game here. He's been doing very well. He hasn't like exploded like we saw earlier today, but he's had some very huge impact rounds and impact performances with that all.
We'll need to see him come out big on this map too. Another player got a little bit more quiet in that last map was Slemmy after having a pretty big performance towards the end of map number 1. Overall, him and Nothing sort of falling off the charts a bit there towards the end of that one. Did not see too much of those guys. It was mainly Shroud, Skadoodle, and Stewie that were doing most of the frag work back on our second map.
I mean, what's most worrying is that both the T sides, Cloud9 only has 5 rounds across 2 terrorist sides in this map, in this series.
Yeah, to a certain degree for like both teams, the T sides
yeah.
have just looked pretty horrendous, to be completely honest. So it's essentially whoever can stack up more rounds on that side is going to have the advantage going into the second half.
Yeah, I mean, Dust2 is going to be a little bit more forgiving for that, just by nature of the map, a little bit more even, a little bit, you know, it can go T sided, it can go CT sided as well. So I mean, it's not going to rely super much on some kind of crazy tactical game plan on the terrorist sides, but it is a very, very defensive affair that we have going on here. The big worrying thing for CLG is, we mentioned it, they got better on Mirage. The individual plays that C9, they just have these players that are more prone to making those big plays, and those are things that can be much, much more effective on Dust2 as a map. I mean, it lends itself to those individual plays going a big way for these teams.
All right, guys, well, we are going into the map here now. It's the final one between CLG and Cloud9. Let's get loud. Let's make some noise for your favorite teams, as this is going to be it. One goes home. One moves on in the tournament here. CLG get the CT side start. Cloud9 jump on the offensive and immediately push 2 of their players inside of the tunnels, but a lot more stacked up on top mid, where they'll be able to hold on for a little bit longer.
Fast up catwalk for Cloud9. They've at least taken control. They at least know there's no presence pushed up there. Cutler in mid, he's trying to spot things. There's some smoke in his way. And now they're going to rotate back. So they had control of B tunnels as well. Now pushing, I mean, they put some pressure on catwalk. You can see the rotations coming in a little bit. Actually, even Hayes leaning out of this B bomb site. This is a very good fake going on at the moment. And JDM's been dealt a lot of damage. Cutler holds on, but still a big presence for C9 in mid. But it's Cutler again. It's Eric as well. And Cutler stays strong. 3 kills for him on the round. Nothing's got to try and pick up the pieces. Cutler, JDM, and Hayes very, very low. He can do this. No armor again. We've seen him on these pistol rounds. He's the one who's sacrificing the armor for the utility. But he's going to get a free kill here. Down into a 1-on-2. The bomb is down in mid. Switches over to the USP.
And now pressing back out towards middle, where he'll be able to get back control of the bomb. They do have 1 player posted up in window, and that's going to be Tarek, the highest health pool player they still have left standing in the matchup here. He's down at 75 HP right now. Nothing, though, not having a lot of luck with that duel, so falling back to grab the reload, finishing off one of the final ones, but at the end of the day, Tarek with a clutch wins the 1v1, and we'll close it out in his team's favor.
Yeah, very awkward fight for nothing as he swings out very wide, not expecting that second player to be there, but almost doing it. 1-on-4, brings it into a 1-on-1. Good recovery from him. Just not enough. Cutler, I mean, really the beast of that pistol round. 3 kills for him. It seemed like CLG was rotated into the really, really awkward positioning. And Cloud9 was going to be able to take it just based off that, but it is the individual play of Cutler that steps it up for CLG.
And now here in the second round, CLG obviously going for a pretty usual investment. 2 SMGs, 2 rifles in the hands of Cutler and Tarek, and the P90 coming on to JDM this time around. So he's going to be trying to just have a little bit more of a viable gun to work with from his position. Lead posted up just outside of the long doors now, whereas the rest of C9 grouping up in middle, getting ready to go for an execute through here. It'll be up to Fugly mainly to stop this. That smoke, I think, was meant to bounce off, but it does not connect whatsoever. So Fugly's free range to fire off, and not only is he going to get some kills, but Cutler pops back out here too, and there's another one for Fugly. He's just kicking some serious butt here.
I'm not one to indulge in memes too often, but if there's ever an NA smoke that's been thrown, it is that one. That might be the easiest smoke in the game. Didn't get to see it thrown. Don't know if it maybe hit an awkward spot on the map, but that's not a smoke you see messed up very often. But yeah, it is atrocious. And Fugly takes advantage.
You could just see it there,
like
covering everything but anything useful.
It's pretty incredible. It's 2-0 for CLG. No armor on any of the Cloud9 members. They do have 3 flashbangs to utilize. See if they can bomb them as they run up catwalk. There's the smoke. Comes down to cover this. That's a nice nade. Skadoodle and nothing gets softened up. All 5 members of C9 going to work their way up catwalk.
Very slow but consistent push coming out from C9 in this direction too. They haven't spotted it yet. A lot of CLG actually moving back down inside of CT spawn to watch for this sort of a play back through middle once again. Thankfully though, Cutler handling things with style, and now JDM wrapping his way back up. Destroys it with the P90, and Cutler's going to find the final kill on his Slemmy there with the USP.
First gun round coming up. Not a whole lot of, no plants for Cloud9 in these rounds. So it is going to be, I mean, they didn't invest too much, but I mean, that's going to prevent Skadoodle from having an AWP into this round. It's going to be 4 AKs, a glue on Slemmy just so he can get the utility. In-game leader making the sacrifice. Nothing new there. The default setup for CLG as well, getting 2 players over to the pit initially. Molotov to slow down any kind of fast play, but it's not going to come. Skadoodle, no AWP, but he is just sitting far back towards the suicide alley, just spotting to see if anyone's going to get aggressive off catwalk. And now CLG rotates that second member away from long A. 2 members at the A bomb site at the moment. Cutler's going to play the swing position.
Cutler just re-smoking things back over there towards the long doors too, so JDM can watch out for that. Just a note too, JDM, since he's had so much success with that P90 over these previous rounds, no reason to ditch it as of yet. Still going to be working with it, saving CLG a whole load of money instead of going for him on the AWP upgrade.
Also, when he does eventually upgrade to the AWP, he will be the one in the swing position at those cars where Cutler is now. But because Cutler has the rifle, the better weapon at long range, that's why he's playing this spot. Cloud9 still a couple members in lower B, couple members in catwalk, and Slemmy in middle. Done a lot of mid to B play and pissed around in some of these eco rounds. Are they going to fall back to it now? It looks like it. The bomb is in upper B tunnels. That's kind of the play you'd expect. It might be a little bit of a reverse. It's going to be Stewie trying to drop down, and he does. No one in CT spawn for him to take advantage of, so this is just going to be a straight up mid to B split. Stewie's going to be in spawn to cut off rotation. Tarek, though, he gives away his position without the kill. He even sprays as he falls back. There's the Tech 9. Hayes with 2 of his own. Stewie responds, though. There he is, cutting off those rotations. Very, very effective, but no success on the other side of the map. This bomb's going to have to try and work its way back, but JDM, there he is, pushing through long, taking the opportunity, and it's a 1-on-3.
He's there to cut it back off now, and of course, with that in hand, Stewie trying to pull off a miracle 1v3, rolling his way back out. I don't even think he spotted JDM, but he should know he's there now from the flashbang. Really only ends up hitting JDM himself a little bit, but he's going to push back out, pulls the knife out, however. And although we will see it take a little bit longer than expected, JDM closes things out there again with the P90. And that'll be the 4th round for CLG.
Upgrades to a free AK-47, and now they know Cloud9 again with no plant. They're going to be back onto a save, so he doesn't actually have to invest in an AWP this round if he doesn't want to. Make sure I mean, there's no reason to risk losing it.
Keep the money flowing strong on the CT side. It's been a weak point for, I mean, quite a few of the teams when we actually have seen the T side be successful so far in this set. The CT economies have just been so delicate because of how close some of these trades have been, especially on CLG side of this. That building up this strong of an economy this early on in the half is going to be an absolutely incredible thing for these guys to work with later on when and if C9 do finally start to stack up some rounds. But heavy from C9 outside of the long doors. They're just going to pile out of this one. Cutler, though, he does get affected by that flashbang. There's going to be some support coming in from JDM, but he's not really able to help out all that much there. And Stewie picks up both of the entry kills here. Cutler only trading out one of them.
Still a long way to go for C9. They have salvaged one of the M4s. That's in Stewie's hands. He's a little bit low, but he does have the armor. He's the only player alive with armor on the T side, so he can survive a little bit of aim punch. And Cloud9, with all 4 members at long, they're just going to stay here. They have a smoke. They have 2 flashbangs to work with if they want to try and cross. Fugly's going to be the main point of contact. Hazed as well. If they don't smoke him off, he could have a very, very nice peek. There's a flash. This could be perfect. Blinds 3 members of Cloud9, but now it's Hazed who's blind in return. Smoke is out. Fugly's got to come up huge, and he can't. He gets 1 kill, traded off immediately. Now just making sure no one's pushing through it. The bomb is going to go down, and CLG at risk of dropping this.
And now one of them posted up back over here in the corner. It's going to be Hazed right over here. Trying to dodge the flames a little bit, and Tarek sitting behind him as well. Not a whole lot of ground to work with, but they might end up doing a little bit of a boost here. And actually, nope, doesn't look like it. They're just going to push together, trying to play this as a team. And actually, they do boost themselves up to get the better view on the platform. Not seeing anything, no. They did spot one guy back in Goose just as they de-established it, but unfortunately, they're still making no ground, and nothing just decimates Hazed. Stewie finds the final kill, and now Cloud9 are on the board.
3 kills for Stewie that round, and very nice use of salvaged utility from Cloud9 as they make their way into the site. That Molotov helps out a lot. Buys time for Stewie to get back towards long. So CLG drop an unlikely round against just pistols.
And that's going to hurt, of course, but thankfully, we were talking about this a lot, with CLG choosing really not to upgrade a lot of their guns from anti-ecos, most notably that P90. CLG get the ops into their hands very quickly, and Tarek already picking up that first kill on a Skadoodle too, decking him down to the ground inside of T-spawn there. Slemmy, though, trades this back. Color's out in the open, and this combined with the earlier damage done by Nothing, he is going to allow this to be traded back and brought into a 4-on-4.
Yeah, Color gets stopped and dealt heavy damage initially, and he still tried to make his way over towards Pit. Gets picked off doing so. So the equalizer is found, and Shroud is the one who's picked up the AWP on this T side. 1 member for C9 is going to be working his way up catwalk. 3 of them out towards long with the bomb as well. It looks like CLG want to retake control of long, and Tarek actually might surprise him.
Fugly, though, also pushing forward here too. Both of them going to try to push their way back out here, but they got to be careful of that player right behind Big Blue right now, and that's Slemmy, who's going to be on the off angle. The smoke comes in. Slemmy, will he be patient, or is he just going to strike out? He needs to now, because Fugly's picked up that first kill right in the corner, but Fugly holds on, finds a kill. Shroud trades it, but now Tarek comes in to support, shutting down Shroud, bouncing his way back over to the bomb site. It's just on Stewie, dropping in his CT, a long-range spray. He finds the kill, and the second one now as he takes down Tarek. So all of a sudden, right back into the hands of C9. They bring it into a 1v1. Stewie should be clear to roll in and grab control of this bomb once again, and it'll be him versus Hazed, who's currently sneaking his way back up to this site, over through Cat.
35 seconds left. Stewie could bail out and go over towards the B bomb site if he wanted to, but he's going to come towards A, so Hazed is guessing correctly. Is he going to be ready for this? Stewie got to peer up towards catwalk, and he looks the other way, and he gets found out. The jump at the end provided Hazed the extra second he needed to complete the kill. Good clutch from Hazed. The sign's so appropriate at the moment.
So Stewie almost pulling off the monster clutch. This is sick right here, too, to pull it around and find that second kill on a Tarek. He knew there was a presence there. He knew it was going to be coming this direction. He could still pull it off there just seconds after finding that first kill. Nicely played by him. Hop shots early from Skadoodle. Not going to be connecting just as of yet. Usual HE through it just to kick up the dirt a bit. It's going to work out in the follow-up smoke now. JDM has the scout in hand. Might try to jump up a little bit, but mainly just watching for presence over at top mid.
I think CLG thought this was going to be a save out of Cloud9 because Fugly's got the MP7. That or he just, I mean, he might not have just had the money to get anything. He's already very low in utility. Cloud9 again, though. Mid-control, Shroud's going to get up on catwalk. He's with Stewie, who's only on a pistol. Stewie and Slemmy only on the pistols at the moment. They've got a little bit of nades to work with. This A defense is looking a little bit weaker. 1 member in CT spawn, 1 member out towards Pit.
Now Color inside of that Pit area, not really going to be able to spot all that much. It's mainly up to the other 3. Fugly, Hazed, and JDM all outside mid as Cloud9 are getting ready to maybe go for the execute here. They're going to postulate themselves possibly over here towards Cat here as well in a minute. As they start to take a look at that, and they're pushing up towards it, and Slemmy leads the charge with just a pistol.
And this is CLG having a good read with all the popularity of the mid to B split that C9 has come out with. Good opening kill from Fugly. He's very, very low. Pop flash might have bought him a little bit of time. An opportunity. There's JDM with a scout. This is going to be so difficult. Nice jumping shot, but Skadoodle picks him out of the sky. Hazed comes up huge. 2 kills from the window. It's all down to Shroud with just the bomb. A 1-on-3. He's not even able to spray down that kill. Tarek responds with a headshot.
And a great recovery once more from CLG. Keeps their lead going strong. Cloud9 fall by the wayside once more. Keep in mind, however, that this is on their T side. Area that we've already seen plenty of times in this set. It's been very, very weak for both of these teams. So it's mainly just on CLG right now to stack up as many rounds as humanly possible before we get to the half. At that point, that's where they could possibly secure themselves an advantage and maybe this map and a spot in the semifinals as well.
I mean, this is a pretty early tactical pause to be taken by Cloud9. Obviously seeing something they don't like on this defense, and they haven't been able to really figure out. So talking things over before it gets too far out of hand, not a bad idea in a crucial third map to keep alive in this tournament.
And so far, too, not even really a whole lot of time to get a feel exactly for the way that the CT side is being played as of yet, but it's just so dominant from CLG. And they have no reason to worry about anything as of yet here, too. The positions have been great. Cloud9 have found a couple trades here and there, but even when it comes down to the clutch scenarios, that's still where CLG is shining best. And in previous maps, that was where C9 took a bit of an advantage.
Yeah, so C9 in some early trouble. And yeah, it does come down to those T sides. I mean, this is still just what they've only had 6 rounds across the 3 maps so far on their Terra sides.
Nice moves. The crowd currently chanting for Cloud9. Not heard a lot of CLG fans out there.
I think it's just overpowering Cloud9 at the moment. It's not looking. It's not looking good.
There's that conflicted American fan again.
He's really triggered you. Just one guy in the Bud Light booth.
He hasn't picked a side. He's like, either way, I win. That's not fair.
Not a bad stance to take.
You have to take one of those off during this match. But C9, he's definitely struggling, and you can see it too. Stewie looking a little bit frustrated there. Definitely not coming out with the very, very dominant performance that we've seen from him over the past few maps. I mean, like, there's been a big improvement overall.
I'm wondering where Irakanji is. I didn't see him standing behind him. Maybe he's
he
just
was
off
sitting
the camera.
in the last map, I noticed. So he might be out of frame. Because I think he's sort of... They don't have chairs, coaches.
Okay.
They have to stand.
Cool.
In his case, sit. So he got a little tired of it.
Back into the live round. 6-1 CLG. Look at the aggression. Pushing into lower B. That's JDM. This time appropriately with the SMGs, knowing it's going to be a save. Stewie, pop flash through the smoke. Fugly is blind. He still gets 1 kill. This guy's been an animal in these past 2 maps for CLG. Very, very strong performance coming out from him. I think during that comeback they made a Mirage. He wins a couple one-on-ones that are just massively important, obviously.
Cutler as well, getting ready for the rest of the push to come out from C9. It's going to be an overflowing amount of players, but he's able to handle it. Fugly coming out for support. He only gets 1 before he's traded out, but all this damage also done by Cutler too. Skadoodle and nothing so low at this point. Tarek and Hayes, along with Cutler, going to close that out. And it's another one that CLG just makes C9 absolutely get decimated by there.
Again, though, this is what the pause was for, and I'm just a little bit curious. We actually, I mean, we can talk about this. For those of you who haven't been around in Counter-Strike, there was at one point time when timeouts weren't necessarily always as popular. A French team, the leader Existence, who's still playing, but it's called the Existence timeout, or the Very Games timeout, where they would just sit and spawn on these pistol rounds and not move, and use it as kind of a technical timeout where they don't have to actually waste theirs. And that wouldn't have been a bad decision for Cloud9 in this early on in the match. If they wanted to take a timeout, that's an opportunity for them that's now wasted.
Hayes will put himself on the boxes in mid now, expecting there to be a play coming from this direction. Just going to camp behind it to try and catch the noise if there is going to be a play coming out from this direction. But the rest of C9, very passive, almost identically to what we've seen in the past 2 maps on their T side, just sitting back, playing to the defaults and waiting to see if they can catch anybody from CLG early on in the round. And then if not, going for the execute, more than likely over towards Cat. Haven't really seen a whole lot of B action as of yet from C9, mainly because of the trouble they've had of executing a mid to B split.
Still catwalk control. CLG hasn't even had to challenge this, really. They're letting Cloud9 have it. It's just Cloud9 hasn't had a successful solution from what to do from here. 3 members on the catwalk. It's going to be JDM with this AWP. Ready for the execute. Pressure is out towards long, though. A lot of nades. They're trying to distract JDM for as long as possible. Hayes is here waiting for the drop, though. Supporting his teammate. JDM around the smoke. Misses his first shot. Flashbang is going to force him back. Fugly and Hayes are here with a couple kills. And Fugly's going to be so tough to clear out, especially with JDM here to cover him. And from range, the CLG defense remains dominant.
Still 4 left alive there too, so the money, the bank for CLG is going to continue to stack up for these guys. Good bonus, even when we may finally see Cloud9 start to string together a few rounds. That's easily one of the biggest advantages you can get as a CT side, is being able to consistently buy. CTs oftentimes are just so weak, and with one single loss, especially in North American matchups, can just throw them off the buy completely. and destabilize them for almost the rest of the half, depending on how good they are at maintaining it from that point forward. But Cloud9, once again, back down onto a save themselves as they've been struggling to just get plants, too. This is another thing, is normally the T's would be able to buy through a lot of this with the full losing bonus that they've been working with for a while now, but they haven't even really been planting the bomb on that consistently either.
Yeah, I mean, it has been. We have seen pistols a lot for Cloud9. It has been a struggle. You're exactly right. So that's an issue they're going to have to rectify very, very quickly because CLG, I mean, they haven't even really lost a gun round. The round that they lost, the Cloud9 won, was started out with pistols, and they recovered everything they needed. Hayes now, he gets caught. There's Stewie with an opening kill. Perfect flashbang takes him out, but Tarek's still in window. Has a big job to do. He's going to see one. That's Fugly that sprays him down. Tarek, he gets the second one. Got to pull out the pistol. Getting pushed upon. A nice flashbang, but Shroud finds the kill anyways. Now it's JDM. Can he find anything? He gets two. What is this? JDM runs out of bullets, but he's done the damage. The AWP is picked up, and the plant is going to go down. He's got plenty of time to do it, but a really tough spot with only 23 HP.
An incredible play from JDM, but now it falls to Shroud to pull off the big clutch here. He's got no armor sitting behind this AWP. And as well as he peeks back out, looking to take that first shot. It's not going to make the connection, and Cutler just rolls right in, shuts him down. The 9th round now for CLG with a +8 advantage against Cloud9.
Oh, JDM. A couple very, very nice shots there. Hayes Sign is just saying, at the moment.
Yeah, where did the ZED go? Now he's just laughing at Cloud9 this time.
Look at this flick up towards window, immediate.
And if he had like one more bullet, he might have gotten this third kill as well.
It's always a bummer when you hear the chamber click empty.
So close from just closing out the match zone. But like I said before, he did the damage, basically handed over that round to his team on a silver platter. So big plays from JDM. This time, however, he's going to die early. Sitting in the back, Skadoodle takes him down.
Yeah, I mean, Tarek and JDM caught him off guard last time, and he actually gets both kills onto the Oppers there. So nice duel from Skadoodle to win that battle. They caught him off guard the first time. Tarek was peeking through the smoke of the HE grenade, and as it faded, Skadoodle wasn't ready for it. This time, he wins it out. And now they just fall right into a meet to beast split. They know the defense has been so incredibly weakened. That flashbang is not as effective as Hayes would have liked, and there's Stewie. 2 kills for him. He gets the third. What a spin. Stewie has been lights out for Cloud9, even through some of the struggles.
Hayes, Fugly, and Cutler all bow down to Stewie as he shuts them down with great precision. And now we've got another round on the board for C9, but how consistent can this be? They cannot afford to get reset again, especially with how fairly inconsistent the plants have been from C9. They cannot really afford to work with this once again, as otherwise CLG is just going to take full control of this CT-sided half.
JDM, oh, this could be dangerous. He's not aware that someone basically just rushed on him. That's Stewie.
Doesn't even care, though. He's just going to push himself through this now, moving up to the window. They have no clue that someone is this far pushed up. They've spotted it now back by the window, but Stewie is going to remain calm for the time being, pushing back in. Catches Tarek on the off angle, and another one! Stewie's going off 5 kills in the past 2 rounds alone as he pushes in full site control. I don't even think CLG can retake this. No, they're calling it off. They're going to fall back. This is C9's 3rd round.
What a play from Stewie. He is stepping up. This is his party. Welcome to professional Counter-Strike. Talked about his pickup for a long time. It was questioned, but we're seeing what Cloud9 has been able to mold him into now. Looking good here in this series versus CLG.
So Stewie, again, a big play from him. Puts C9 back into the control of this matchup. CLG, though, all posting up together. They're focusing on saving these guns, and it's good that this call was made this early, too, as they are running out of cash, as you can see from the scoreboard. Yeah,
they need these weapons in the next round because Tarek, they're not even going to be able to drop weapons over to him. So this is going to be a little bit rough for CLG. Tarek and Hayes are going to buy up armor and pistols into the next round to help out this AWP, these 2 M4s. There goes Stewie on the chase. But a good round from him, just rushing down mid. Catches CLG completely off guard.
So there we go. Cloud9, after a very, very rough start to this one, have finally started to chain them together. Still bit of a road, bit of a ladder to climb here to get themselves back, but 9-6 would not be a very bad half at all here for it being Dust2. Now we're going to see, with another investment coming in for these guys, CLG as well, forcing up to whatever they could. Actually, not even bringing, really, not forcing up at all, I should say. Only bringing the 3 rifles that they kept from the past round. And Hayes and Tarek aren't just going to invest anything at all.
This is a setup though that won him a Nico round earlier at this exact same spot. Obviously, nothing gets that first kill though. Not going to fall to Tarek. Now the rotation is in. Actually, Cloud9's been slowed down. That's the bomb as well. CLG, they have everything they could want. JDM gets another one. Goes for more and he finds it. Skadoodle falls and it's miraculous. JDM finishes it off. Beautifully done.
With another pickup from him, that stops the C9 rampage that they were about to go on here. CLG back into the control of this matchup. And now we just have to take a look at as to where Cloud9's economy is going to be for this next round here. They were chaining some rounds together, but Unfortunately, the exception of that last one, that was the only one where they really kept everybody alive, so is that enough to build them up for enough of a bank to go for a force? And it is, thankfully. Still a very good full buy coming in. Skadoodle even getting armor. Not head of armor, unfortunately, but still gets armor behind the op and utility to boot. So Cloud9 are not done fighting back against CLG just as of yet.
Look at all the mid-presence that CLG has had. I mean, they have a very good read that Cloud9 wants to at least open their rounds towards middle. Here's a good trade. Hayes gets one, Shroud responds, so down into a 4-on-4. But still, they can't make any progress with it. And the terrorists always get the advantage in this situation because the defense gets spread out. It gets a little bit more thin. It's tough for them to kind of group up.
Good hesitation from Fugly, though, and not to actually peek out from CT just as of yet. Cloud9 have sort of called off the mid hit after there was the trade there. Not going to be risking themselves on it just as of yet, but it's going to be an aggressive flashbang. Perfect connection. But he's way too far away from the actual doors themselves to try and follow it up with anything. Just going to use this to transition himself further to the B bomb site as they'll split the defenses 2-2 on either side, which unfortunately for CLG leaves mid wide open for C9 if they want to try mid to B split.
They are at least going to probe out. And they have one smoke to the left. This gives them cover to at least clear CT spawn. Look like they want to just execute standard B hit out mid from that. Nothing's instead going to fake it. The bomb and one other working up catwalk. Is JDM going to fall for this? Is he going to hear the comms from his teammates and kind of look away? He's not. And now he sees the Molotovs coming out. Both into the site. A little bit miscommunication, but he's forced away by some nice flashbangs. Now he can't really get close to peek. He's so blind. This is so awkward for JDM, but he finds it anyways.
Burning, though.
Stays poised. He's alive with 20 HP. Gets another one.
And down to 20 HP, he's going to look for the final one. He might have just saved his team on this round. The other player that's still left alive is Skadoodle sitting way back on Cat. The peek, though, from Slemmy about to roll out. JDM swapping. They got a bit dangerous there. Misses the connection, but now they know for sure where he's hiding at it. Skadoodle, though, finds Bugly looking for some more. Slemmy's found the pickup on a JDM and C9. They're trying to recover on this one. There's another shot from Skadoodle, and it shuts down Cutler and Slemmy up on the site. Closes it out. The two-man hold shuts down CLG. And they're going to win another round for this T side.
The control of these oppers in that round is insane. JDM with all the Molotovs, all the flashbangs, still finds 2 kills. Skadoodle as well, finding one, and then being pressured with bullets from below, and then runs into a Molotov just to get one quick kill and fall away. It's really nicely done. Shroud picks up an op just to go for that mid pick. Swaps it out for the AK-47. Meanwhile, Slummy's flashed away from the corner. He's going to re-peek. He loses that.
JDM will once again strike first for CLG up in the 15th round, the last one of the first half here. CLG have the good lead, already on the path to take as much of a lead as they had in the first map against C9. However, Cloud9 already showed us that they could round a comeback from this scoreline before, and they want to try to get at least one more edge onto this one previously if they can. Try to afford it here. Cutler down at 32 HP after that bit of a trade back with the long doors, but Trot also down at 37, so essentially an even trade there. Nothing really gained and nothing really lost for either team.
Nothing now going to come back, and they've got to find some way. I mean, they had three pistols to go against, but that one kill, Cutler salvaged the other AWP. So now, I mean, a little bit of a tougher situation for Cloud9, and still spread across the map and haven't really decided where they want to go. They're waiting. I mean, you can see Skadoodle just holding mid, waiting to see if someone's going to push. Someone from CLG is going to make a mistake. Give them an equalizer that would help them get back into this round, but it's not being provided. CLG showing some patience here, and actually, Fugly very close up, hearing footsteps. If the op's going to lead the way, it might be an easy kill, and it is. That flashbang is perfect. Stewie can do absolutely nothing. Now there's a timer on when they can hit this B-bomb, so they have to do it now.
30 seconds left on the clock. Nothing's going to try to push up, but they've been blinded once again. Skadoodle, though, recovers. Takes down Tarek, but there's going to be a response from Hayes. Coming in on the Shroud. 4 still up and rolling for CLG and Cloud9. Just a struggle to get out onto this site now. The smokes are there. They're going to try to just build a pathway of smokes, but they can't succeed in doing it. Nothing, though, picks up another kill, but they are running out of time. They need to get control of this site and get the bomb down before the retake ends up starting. Pushing back into this one. They still have presence coming in from window, but they've mollied it out. Now Skadoodle going to fully commit himself, and they are safe to get this bomb onto the ground. But very quickly, CLG, they've also rotated back in, and they're ready to start this retake. Skadoodle watching for a tunnels push. This is going to be dangerous for him because as well, nothing is posted back up. They are not ready. Their positioning from Cloud9 is going to be so horrible now if CLG pushes back in, but they are adjusting thankfully, so maybe a bit better. There we go. Now they're going to be able to impact. Skadoodle and nothing, finding the first two. JD and the last one alive, and Skadoodle closes that one out as well. Cloud9 bounced back and ended on a 10-5 half.
Those last 2 rounds, the holds were incredible. Cloud9 at such a disadvantage, even after the bomb gets planted. Awkward positioning. They're aided by the fact that the double op setup for CLG, I mean, the second op was salvaged, but it's just so hard to retake sites with those 2 weapons. So they get their 5, and it looks so unlikely where this half started out. It was dominance from CLG, but again, Cloud9 figures something out to at least give themselves some room to work with.
And CLG, you can tell again, not necessarily going to be happy with the result they found there. They had themselves in a position to where they could have ended up at 12, 13, maybe even 14-1 in theory at a certain point of that one, but they did allow C9 to round the comeback, and this 10-5 lead in any other match, you would say, yeah, this is still great for CLG, but ultimately we've already seen two major comebacks that both teams have rounded back, and it's very likely we could see another one right here.
What is CLG going to have stored? They won the first pistol round. They could win the second here, and that would be just a mirror, essentially, of cash. They did lose that map, which doesn't bode well. Very spread out to start on the T-side pistol. 4 members are over towards long. Here's Stewie with a pop flash. A little bit early, doesn't see anything with it. He's got a smoke and a flash left. Slummy as well had utility. He's only got a kit left. And Skadoodle holding the angle. There's a flashbang. It's going to blind him. He's going to take those shots. More than willing to battle with that angle. He's got a teammate in pit. Oh, 2 shots from Skadoodle is huge. That is a good find. Now isolated Shroud. He has nothing coming in for the teamwork. That long attack is slaughtered.
The only thing they have left alive is going to be the raid boss buy, and that's on Fugly, but jumps down in the CT, and there's nothing left for him. Also, losing control of the bomb, tries to pick up one of them back in pit, but essentially he's in the arena at this point, and Stewie grabs the one tap on the USP to close him out. Cloud9 immediately on that will be given another opportunity to bounce back in their second half by finding a 6th round.
Those kills from Skadoodle is so disgusting. Look at this. One here, one there. Very, very quick. That's brutal.
And Cloud9 immediately back into this, not even wasting any time at all with SMGs. 5 rifles already on the board for these guys. And meanwhile, on CLG's end of this one, not actually going directly into the force now. A couple of great pistols and whatnot, but only 3 of them by a armor behind it.
Could be a little dangerous for C9. I mean, if they give up a sight, they don't have a lot of utility for retakes. They've got 1 flashbang, 3 smokes. They do have kits, but I mean, no nades to clean up any weakened opponents. No Molotovs to force them out of position. It's going to be a mid to B smoke coming out. And nothing, he might get caught. He's got to be careful. He's got to flash this. Here's Footstep, gets his gun out just in time, grabs that first one. Shroud bails him out with a second, and they've shut it down. C9 gets their 7th.
Not a single loss as well on the C9 side, so economy will remain strong heading into the next one. And with us probably seeing less of a buy from CLG this time around. No plants coming in for these guys on either of the first 2 rounds. They're going to be in good shape now to build up an early economy, just as CLG did in the last half.
Now the crowd has reason to cheer for C9.
And this is such a closer lead too now already, just with 2 rounds won and this 3rd one basically being for free. Just going to be 2 rounds away from CLG, so immediately they're right back into the hot seat after losing this lead at the beginning of the half.
There's one thing we've learned, Blue, in this series so far. Nothing is for free. There are no free rounds here.
I mean, this would just be madness if, by whatever means, CLG.
Listen, we saw someone win a clutch with no mouse earlier today. There's been crazier things that have happened. Slemmy now, he's going to spot the drop. It's Shroud, though, that gets the 3 kills. Really well done from him. Slemmy cleans up the 4th. And Shroud, he gets 4 in the round on total. So, yeah, a little bit for free.
Yeah. Not a single player going down, so just a bit. Heading into that first gun round, though, now CLG will get their first chance to strike back, and one of their actually only chances to maintain their lead here. Cloud9 are only going to be 2 rounds behind, winning this one in their favor, bringing it to just 1, and CLG, unless they find a plant, really probably won't be able to justify another force going into it to try and maintain that lead.
Skadoodle with the AWP, 4 FAMASes still. Here's Skadoodle guarding this A bomb site. He will be here a lot. We will see him in these positions very, very frequently on this map. Just a standard setup. 1 player rotates back towards CT spawn. Nothing at B, willing to support Shroud should it be needed. CLG is very slow pace. Mid control just walking up catwalk on top of the box. Running low on nades. They've got 5 smokes, but they've only got 3 flashbangs to utilize. Plenty of Molotovs for the Cloud9 side.
And they push themselves back up. Hayes getting himself ready on Cat to try and strike first here, but the rest of the team is inside of the tunnels. Really only trying to get some intel and maybe toss in a couple grenades and whatnot to throw them off and keep the rotations over towards this A bomb site. And it is working to a certain degree too. A lot of attention being drawn to mid right now. There's essentially no defense in the site itself.
Which is, I mean, this looks like it's going to turn into a mid-B split. When you have an AWPer in the upper B tunnels with the bomb, especially with 45 seconds left, that's essentially what this play is. And with so much emphasis on middle. Cloud9 just wants to eliminate this half of the attack and then focus on the retake. Nothing though. Oh, he recovers the time again. That flashbang, it's perfect. Nothing finds two. Now they can get back into the B-bomb site. Stewie's got time to do it as well. CLG hasn't pressured it because mid got decimated.
And now here as well, Mollies go back out in the tunnels. It's going to hold back the remaining CLG players. They can't even really push out onto this site. And there's Stewie, one through the smoke, tap it away, try to find some more if he can pick him up. Not going to be able to find anything else as yet, but the shattering kill that they found through the smoke itself has already done enough. And these final two players, they're falling back. They're going to smoke themselves off, and they're just going to save. They're going to let the timer run down.
Really nice hold from Cloud9, and still the money grows. They still haven't had to upgrade any of these Promises, they're even going to get them for free. 3 free AK-47s. No investment for him whatsoever.
Only Slemmy not picking up the upgrade there. So, again, C9 back on the warpath here now that they get themselves onto the CT side and immediately starting to dominate the playing field, just as we expected, just as we've seen now in the past few maps.
This round was so close to going in the way of CLG, though, because nothing was not... I mean, I don't think he realized how... Like, Shroud got smoked off very, very quickly, and nothing didn't realize it. He just gets his gun out in time to recover for that first kill. Look at this fast pace. Tarek trying to replicate Stewie a little bit, and he's going to do it. That time, nothing does get caught in a second one. Tarek comes up big. Skittle responds, but Shroud is traded out, and now it's Cloud9, who might just have to save their weapons in this.
Cloud9 also stuck a bit of a pinch here, too. The bomb goes down, but they also are going to have to deal with Hayes, who's currently pushing up. If he drops down from here, he's going to have these players stuck inside. But they're moving up now, and Hayes, he's ready to pounce. Nobody really looking behind him right now, and he's just going to wait for one of these guys to peek out. There we go, the drop down. Shuts out Skadoodle, and Sonic, he's going to be on the run.
I mean, this match is starting to turn... Oh, nice shot, Hayes. Gets over to the AWP, finds the last one. This match is starting to turn into just a brawl. There is no real finesse to these tactics that are coming out. This time it's just Tarek straight up rushing with the Tech 9.
As the CLG fans battle back in the stands there now to root for their own team, of course. But CLG, with that round being stolen away from C9, they will be able to keep their lead going strong for at least a little bit longer. Still have a nice investment coming in from the C9 side. And very quickly, we'll have a couple players moving out of Tixie long control. Not a very aggressive stance being taken from C9, but Slemmy holding back by the card angle. We'll find the first kill against Color.
Big find. This slows everything down as well. Tarek, though, this Molotov, if it's on point, can force him out. That's a duel that's going to be really awkward for Slemmy. He's not burning, though. And now it is. It spreads.
Uh-oh!
Comes out so low, 12 HP.
Just barely survives that. Finds a little tiny corner still in the safe spot behind the car there where he can survive, but he's essentially a dead man walking now if they push long.
Looks like Tarek's so wise that Molotov might not have finished him off, that he's still there. Unfortunately, no HEs to clear that out. But you can still see Slemmy hasn't moved. A little bit worried. One bullet and he's gone. So CLG rotates back towards mid. Catwalk is smoked off. This is one of the rare times C9's done that, so it should be an indication there's some kind of presence on Catwalk. CLG is instead just going to walk out mid. Is Stewie going to spot it? He is. That's a good find. That's an awkward angle to have to deal with if you're JDM. A little bit unfortunate.
Stewie picking up that first kill against JDM. And Stewie as well, finding another one from up on top. CLG slowly being picked apart here. Fugly does have a flank lined up, but that spray is messy. And Stewie's even going to win that duel too. So it's all on Tarek. Not even catching Shroud off guard as well. And Shroud's even going to win that. That's two duels that they should have absolutely had in their hands. And now CLG starting to look very, very messy indeed as Cloud9 piece together another round for themselves.
What does CLG do now? Buy up 3 AK-47s. Fugly's stuck on just a pistol. JDM wants that up, so he has invested nothing. He has a P250. That's about it. This defense for C9 has brought them right back into this game. 10-11. We haven't seen a double up come out for Cloud9 yet, I don't recall. Skadoodle still has his. He's been effective, but Stewie hasn't picked it up. Stewie's been very mobile with the M4, so maybe feeling like he's just a little bit of a hot hand with it. No reason to switch things up.
Shroud as well, posting himself inside of the CT spawn. Still waiting for there to be some presence coming out from mid, but it doesn't look like it'll be happening this time. CLG still pushing themselves over towards Cat. 4 players ready to make the move here. I imagine depending on how Tarek's initial jump goes, we'll decide if they decide to go for this or if Fugly rounds himself very quickly to the top tons and Tries to make this a mid to B split, but he's even rotated back down to the lower suns too. So this is definitely going to be a full commitment into this bomb site. Moving in, they really only have Skadoodle to try and fare this off initially. Shroud tries to hold, but Cutler's going to find that pickup. Nothing responds though against Cutler, who tries to move out, and Slummy finding another kill as well. There's Skadoodle with the op, taking down Hayes. CLG have taken so many losses, and the only two that are left alive just have P250s. Stewie finding another kill. It's all coming down to JDM. He's managed to scavenge an AK, but he's in a 1v4. He has no armor and no utility to hold this side off. This would be a miracle play if we saw JDM pull this off. Molly's just going to force him out into the open. Skadoodle finds the final shot, and we'll be tied once again now at 11 rounds.
Yeah, Skadoodle with 2 kills that round, holding long, holding that for the retake, but it's equals. Okay. But it is Slummy who bails Skadoodle out of a really tough spot. I was going to try and make sense of that, and it's just not working.
I have no clue what that sign says either.
It's like, I might as well read that out. It looks cool. Put a lot of effort into it.
So 11 to 11, CLG back down onto a force buy. Or not even really force buy, just upgraded pistol round. Tech-9s, a couple P250s into the mix, and essentially no utility. Cutler's got a flash, but that's it. And they're already taking damage here too. Slummy checking in the first one, Skadoodle finding a second. This is going to be oh, actually, maybe not so. JDM does find the frag on a Stu 2K, but beyond this, Cloud9 are completely shutting down the offensive from CLG this time.
Nice shot from Skadoodle. Again, 2 kills. Can't get that one. That's the pistol, though. No reason to really overextend and risk having to rebuy everything, so he's just going to fall away. Cloud9 is going to take the lead. It's going to be 12 to 11 after this.
All right. Cutler is going to get decked. He attempts to go for a last-minute push outside of the mid doors there. Now C9, coming off of just that upgraded pistol round from CLG, will take the lead away. And will start their push forward to the 16th round.
Now the double op setup comes out. Skadoodle has one, Stewie with the other one. So perhaps trying to catch CLG off guard with a late switch. JDM has one as well. Shroud, though, is the one who's going to get aggressive. Off catwalk. Looked like he wanted to push forward. Looks like they do want to, but now it's a shooting gallery. Shroud and Slummy combined for 2 kills, catching CLG off guard. Tarek's going to try and make up for it. He's in front of the Molotov. Are they expecting this? At least one of them is, but Tarek finds Slummy. Skadoodle responds. Cutler, meanwhile, is taking control of Pit. But what can you really do after the start from Cloud9?
Both of the remaining members, too, have split angles to try and push from, but JDM has no secure control of Cat. No clue if C9 decided to push back and get aggressive. Once again, no clue what's beyond those doors he's currently scoped in on, so he cannot afford to push it alone. He has to pull Cutler back to re-support him, and they've got to try to do this 2v4. Now, the B site's still very weak. There's still a lot of focus from Cloud9 on defending the A bomb site. If they can move in there, be able to take down, I believe, Stewie, who's inside of that B bomb site, and eliminate him, then they may yet have a chance to bring this back into their control, but they've also got to be careful by going through mid, that there's going to be, once again, a lot more presence here from the CT side.
Going back to Mirage, we've seen some very delayed aggressive pushes on the CT side out of Cloud9. I don't know if it's Slummy or Irakanji, but whichever one it is, those two working together as the tacticians of this team, they have a very, very good feel of when to switch up the pace, and it's caught CLG off guard a number of times in the series. Stewie's going to be tested with the AWP, and he's going to get that first kill. No problems there. Cutler's next up. Stewie just has to stay alive, and he's just freezing Cutler in place. 6 shots. Stewie, what a sequence.
And again, there's the power of Stewie, not only as a rifler and as a very, very aggressive CT-sided player, but now as an opper, too, in this matchup. Has definitely been shutting down CLG throughout most of this matchup on that CT side. Nicely played by him. This slow peeking from CLG just is not going to work out when you're in that clutch of a situation, but as well with the little amount of intel that they had. Could have been anything waiting on that bomb site. In that case, though, it was Stewie, and he absolutely decimates it. Again, another upgraded pistol round just coming in from CLG. Some armor investments behind it, but nothing really that impressive.
Now it's Slummy. Got to be careful going up against Tech9's the Deagles. He's going to give away an M4. Looks like he wanted to. He just spots him jumping. He knows it's not worth the push, so he's going to play it passively. I think they're boosting up the middle. No, there's 2 in the B bomb site. Excuse me. Shroud is just going to be in CT spawn. Mid control for CLG. They've got 2 flashbangs, no smoke. So I mean, if they go towards this A bomb site, Skadoodle's ready and waiting and willing, with arms wide open, holding that AWP. Those have better be some god tier flashbangs to keep him blind long enough to make it into the bomb site.
And now Cat's been mollied off, but CLG still moving themselves up here very, very slowly. It's essentially just going to be a 5-man explosion out onto the A site. They're trying to hold things off here. As Cutler lines up the first flashbang, they throw themselves in. It's going to have to be a perfect connection on Skadoodle as he's posted up in the car angle. Slummy actually quite a while away, and Shroud still in CT. This could get a bit messy if the guys from C9 are not going to be expecting this. Right now, Skadoodle popping out. He's going to call for help. Misses that first shot, though, and now Stroud's under trouble, but he holds off. Skadoodle finds the second connection, though, as he takes down Hayes on his own second shot. Switching over to the Tech-9 as he's expecting a close-range battle, but Stroud doing a great job of holding them back. He's going to find one more frag before he himself is eliminated by Cutler. And Fugly pushing out. Nice taps. He finds another kill, but Slemmy ultimately will take him down, and it leaves Cutler all on his lonesome here in the 1v3. No utility to hold back the tide, and nothing. Just taps away, finds Cutler, finishes him off, and another one stacks up onto the board for Cloud9.
Yeah, just widening the gap in the scoreline. They're going to be up towards 14. Hayes' side is a little bit slower getting put up.
Indeed. So, Cloud9, I mean, just look at the money they have at this point, too.
Yeah, I mean, these past few rounds have just been dominant for them. Stewie at 23 and 15. Very good performance out of him. On the other side, it is JDM leading the way with 17 kills.
As now JDM tries to go for the timing shot against Cloud9, but not going to find a connection. A little bit too late on it, that one. And the guys from C9 will get themselves posted up here. Fairly default position still being held. Nothing out of the ordinary for the CT side to try and counter out CLG. Already used a bit of aggression here, so in the hopes of not repeating themselves too much and being called out by CLG on that, just going to stick to the defaults this time around.
Stewie's almost nodding his head, saying, yes, please.
Please peek me. Feed me a kill.
Molotov is going to come out. That's going to do absolutely nothing. Fugly might try and use that smoke to kind of peek with the cause of distraction. There's a nice flashbang. Instead of going for a timing shot, Stewie just falls away. I don't think he was spotted, though, by Fugly. But still, no reason for Fugly to overextend there. He's not the main prong of this attack. Just don't die. You're on the extremity just watching for pushes. And he falls away into lower B.
And he could be very easily spotted, too, in the push out with them hunting against, I believe, the chain fence there. So, going to move himself further back up onto the platform. Whereas the rest of CLG, they're ready to throw a lot of their utility back over onto this B-bomb site. And Execution now coming in, but not even checking behind Big Blue. Slemmy gets his first kill for free against Cutler there, taking him down. And now Shroud's free to help out as well, pushing back in from CT spawn. Shuts out Tarek. JDM going to try to recover from this, but that smoke is throwing them off to quite a large degree. They've got smokes down underneath. And they can't even find the players from Cloud9 that are posted up back over towards long. So they'll get themselves up here. They'll get the bomb onto the site, but now they've got to try and hold this. And Cloud9 are so close to this one. They're even going to smoke back out over here in a cat, so JDM can't fall back and support as much as he would like.
Yeah, and he actually chooses to go through that smoke to check his flank, but now that he's on the way back, they know where he is. And there's nothing he can do. 3 HP. This is going to be a round for Cloud9 again. So effective on these early kills. Cutler falls out towards long. The drop of Tarek was a little bit mistimed because none of his teammates streamed out behind him, so Shroud didn't have to be worried about anyone shooting at him from above. Just eliminates Cutler.
Cloud9 now one round away from pushing themselves into the semifinals here. But they need to close it out, however, and it's going to be after this tactical pause coming in from CLG. The big question here is, like, is this even appropriate at this point? Is this coming in far too late, or is there any real merit that can be gained now?
I mean, there's always something you can gain, but I mean, I think for me, it actually is far too late. I think it's now going to be a really tough situation. They've got to come up with something that's going to win them 4, and they've got to come up with it now. It's got to be some kind of magical discussion they have during this pause. So I mean, they could have used it as this was widening. They could have used it maybe a couple rounds ago. Your eyes do not deceive you. That graphic is a little bit wrong. Cloud9's the one up at 15, so don't be worried.
As now they are very close indeed to closing out this matchup here. It's been a very long one. 3 very
exhausting and grueling maps for both of these teams.
And basically grinding it. And it's Cloud9, of course, suffering the most off of that last map, having the big lead, the 12-3. I think the biggest half lead we saw in the entire set so far. And then to lose that off of an absolutely decimating CT-sided performance on Mirage from CLG. Now coming into this one, CLG, they're the ones that came into this one. They had all the hope. They're the ones that have all the pomp and circumstance moving into this game. But getting off to a great start did not matter. They only had the 10-5 lead, and they immediately lost it in the second half.
Yeah, this is a lot of it's come down to Stewie. Some of the plays that he's making, propelling them forward, but everyone, I mean, Skadoodle's now come alive with the op and had some very good defense at that A bomb site, and that's the thing on this map. I mean, you always know where he's going to be. It's just so hard to stop him. He's played against so many teams, seen so many different executes from that position over towards A. It's just so hard to make him feel uncomfortable, to miss some shots. You have to have success elsewhere on the map to force him out of the impact situations, and it's just not happening for CLG at the moment.
Shroud again has been performing very well on this map too, especially in the last couple of rounds with his positioning back from CT. It's been these pretty consistent cat hits coming in from the side of CLG, and he's always been able to respond, moving himself out from CT, which is always a very dangerous position because it's so easy for one of the teams to just peek out from any of the many angles you can do that back on the railing there and then just shut him down if he's looking the wrong way. But he's almost always found at least 1 or 2 kills before he's finally traded out there, making sure to keep the numbers very low for CLG and very manageable for the rotating teammates that move over to retake that site.
Back into it. What did CLG come up with? Would have been nice to grab that one. JDM and Tarek, double up setup on the T side. That's the big change. That's the big switch.
We're going to see how well this does work out for them, of course. It's their last chance to try and swing a comeback here. The fans are cheering for C9. They want to see this ended now. But we've already seen so many comebacks rounded here. CLG, will they be able to do a third one to take us into OT for the second time? This will be their opportunity to do it. Posturing up now, Tarek. Taking a look outside of the tunnels to see if he can find anybody in that B bomb site, but there's nothing on the platform. Both of them are inside of the site itself. We have the other 3 players camping outside of the long doors and outside of the mid doors as well.
Oh, Stewie. Ooh. That flashbang actually doesn't blind the operative CLG, but still gets away with one. That's Tarek, who couldn't respond quick enough.
Tarek now sitting back, still trying to hold that angle a little bit, but put himself in a bit of a safer spot, just watching out to see if anybody from C9 repositions themselves over to the platform. They're actually going to give up their conquest now in the tunnels. The bomb shifting itself down lower as they do throw a couple grenades and whatnot closer to the A bomb site. That'll pull nothing off of the site, but they're still going to be going for the B hit here.
They've given a lot of time. Switching into the double op, you're hoping for some picks on this T side. They've given a lot of time for both the oppers of CLG, for JDM and Tarek. Nothing's been found yet. Stewie with the op of his own. He's going to be alone in this B bomb site. This time, instead of any kind of mid to B split, JDM's out here with an op trying to find something. But the main attack is just going to straight up be at the B bomb site. JDM, he's going to swing a little bit wide. There's nothing on the rotation, though. He does get picked off from behind, but Stewie gets one. Now he's going to try and hold. Cutler gets one towards mid. Stewie can't find this kill, but the mobility confuses Tarek, and it's going to be all over. Cutler needs to do something heroic. 1-on-3 situation, 10 seconds left, and it's not going to happen. Cloud9 has done it. A comeback on the first map, and Stewie finishes it off. Cloud9 will move on.
They're going to move on to the semifinals. Unfortunately for CLG, their journey will end here. They'll be knocked out. And that will bring us down to only a few teams left. One more to eliminate today as of yet. But Cloud9 have secured their spot in the playoff bracket.
A 6 series overall. Comeback on the first map, CLG coming back and responding on the second, and Cloud9 down after the first half, but the second half was all them.
And again, some big step-ups here in the individual basis from C9 that we don't normally see, of course. The first map, we saw some big plays from nothing. He kind of cooled down in the second 2 maps, but Stewie was an extremely dominating factor in all 3 maps. And in that first map, again, Slemming, too, a player, the new addition, who we really haven't seen all that much of. Again, did cool off in maps number 2 and 3, but some big performances on map number 1 to bring it back and give them their first point in the matchup. Yeah,
there were some cool things for CLG to take home. I mean, I thought Fugly had great impact a couple times at the plays he was making, especially on Mirage. Hayes as well was a top fragger on that map. That was really good stuff out of them. But I think the big player that we saw is obvious. I think you can't go away from Stewie. I think he just had a really, really big, probably his best performance in a series with Cloud9.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the biggest performance we've seen in quite a while from him, and honestly, a lot of that not even coming in with the rifle, just coming in with the op that we saw too.
The op was sick. That's turned into a pretty dirty double op setup between him and Snoodle.
And transitioning that from Freakazoid, he used to pick that up a bit too, just shifting him over to that role when Freakazoid was removed off of this roster as well. That's quite a quick change up, and especially with how dominant he's being, this is probably going to be a very long-standing thing for these guys to use on this team.
Yeah, and if that continues, I mean, there's a lot of stars for Cloud9 that didn't have like the normal impact we normally see on them, but if they can start winning without those guys, then all of a sudden you have more tools to use. And you look at some of the best teams in the world, you look at some of the teams that can compete against Europeans, they have, 2 main stars and then two other guys who can kind of pick up the pace when needed to help them out. And that's kind of what we're starting to see out of C9, at least here in the North American region.
All right, guys, well, that is going to close out this matchup from us here. Let's throw it over to Smix. She has an interview with C9.
First of all, congratulations, Cloud9. You guys are moving on to the semifinals. This crowd obviously loves you guys, and the last time you guys made it to the top 4 was actually 6 months ago. Actually, on American soil. Back then, it was the iBuy Power Cup as well as the RGN Pro Series. But how does it feel to make it to the top 4 once again?
It feels good. As Tarek said, he hoped for a good game, so let's give a quick cheer for CLG, man. It was a good game. Yeah, like, I think both of us are disappointed in various things. The match went back and forth. 2 lopsided halves, you never really want to see that. T-side Mirage is looking like we aren't even on the same team or something, so we got a lot to figure out and a lot to prove if we want to beat Tempo Storm, so I'm just looking forward to hopefully putting up a good match.
Well, let's do a breakdown of that series overall. I know that there was so much momentum swinging back and forth. Cash was the first map, and it started with CLG starting out pretty solid, and then it just momentum swung completely in your guys' favorites. It seemed like your CT side just completely shut them down. What do you think went right for you guys as opposed to wrong for them?
On Cash, well, pretty much every map we were starting off so bad, but on Cash, we have, I guess, a little bit better strats, so we were able to get back into it. We had a few things we could go to, so we did a few strats we knew would probably work, and it got us back on T side for sure. As far as the CT comeback, we lost pistol and basically won out, maybe lost like 1 or 2 rounds. So, I mean, our CTs have been super solid, so it was our CT that brought us back for sure.
And Slammy, I want to ask you again specifically about Mirage, because I know that you guys as a team have been working on Mirage with you as a member of the team now as in-game leading. So let's talk about it, because it has not been pretty on the T side for you guys yesterday and today. I believe YNK actually tweeted out that you guys are 0 and 28 on the T side. So what is going on there?
Yeah, I don't know, the T side, they're just online T-siders. I don't know, the land calls were not doing it for us, but I mean, I still think it's a map that'll be viable for us in the future. There's some little things off that hopefully we can fix, and maybe that'll switch around for us. It's definitely terrible. It was terrible.
All right, but luckily you guys still were able to close it out to the 2-1 on to move forward to play Tempo Storm. You guys have played Tempo Storm twice this year in a best of 3, but you guys lost both times. Both were online, and of course this is different. This is on LAN. It's always different on LAN, and I know that you guys last time on American Soul, as I mentioned, we're able to perform really, really well and become champions. We're here in America once again. This crowd is cheering so hard for you guys. Do you think we'll be able to see some C9 magic tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I mean, Tempo Storm is like Luminosity's little brother, so they're going to have their stuff down, and if we're not on the same page, the better team will win tomorrow. I think we match up with good firepower on our side. It's all about who comes out with better teamwork, so let's get that energy up tomorrow and hopefully we come to play.
All right, and with that, the team that will be moving on to face Tempo Storm in the semifinals will be Cloud9.
Awesome stuff. I think that's a fantastic way to describe their chances tomorrow as well, from nothing. And yet, not the smug Miss Harvey we were talking about, joking about at the start of this one. Jason's wiping his brow. But yeah, CLG have fallen, albeit in a full 3 maps and in a very unusual kind of circumstances. It's a tough game to get your head around, and I'll start with you, Steph. Like, I mean, that must have been toying with everyone's emotions in the crowd. I don't know where you were watching that, but it was just ups and downs, roller coasters, T-sides. It seems like NA have got a lot of work to do on their T-sides.
Yeah, and also like their CT side, every team that was up CT side ended up losing that map. So it's kind of weird. It seems like after being like up 12-2, they kind of get sloppy, losses their last few rounds.
Like 11-4, 12-3, and 10-5. I think were the 3
halftime
scores.
And
it was always CT-sided, but there was almost always like a huge comeback in every single matchup.
And it, like at the end of their CT, teams get kind of sloppy, or we're winning kind of thing. Yeah. But these rounds matter in the end. They do matter because all 3 maps ended up losing these rounds. So I think it's really important to notice that Fugly stepped up, I think, on CLG. Sure. I also think that after the first map, when Cutler brought it back to the overtime, it would have been a crucial round, and then that's when Slimmy got his really intense round on the first round of DOT that cut CLG's momentum like in half, and then after that we saw what happened in the OT.
I think the interesting thing to note is you look at Stewie and Nothing, 2 guys who stepped up for Cloud9, 72 and 71 kills. I mean, it's a very consistent affair. No one like really tops anything from CLG. Everyone's within like a few frags, but none of them they never had that performer that could just bring them to the next level when it was needed.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before. We said, you know, your Tarex, your JDMs, occasionally a Fugly turns up as well, and not a single one of them. We saw examples of it in their previous games, not present this time from CLG. However, you're right. I mean, it feels weird, but can we start with Dust2 just because it's fresh in our minds and work our way backwards? Because I do want to talk about Mr. 2K, Mr. Stewie, who actually kind of, towards the end of the second half, you guys were getting pretty excited about him. He seemed like on T side, when things go right for Stewie, they really go right, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, it's also that's one of the signs of just like kind of players who are starting to gain experience. Still very young in his professional career, so still very much momentum based. And when he starts off pretty hot, he has that confidence to keep going for those plays that he likes. And he just rolled with it, and things went his way a lot. But I mean, he really bailed them out on that T side when they were struggling. That rush down mid, opened up that B bomb site, and then he had a couple nice plays, but he got them like 2 to 3 rounds single-handedly on their T side, and that's so important for Cloud9 at the moment. They're like we mentioned, their terror sides is just they don't have anything at the moment. So for him to individually just grab those rounds is very important.
And that all started back on the first map too. Like as soon as we didn't really see much of them in the first half back over on Cash, but as soon as they jumped over onto the T side themselves, or as soon as they jumped over onto the CT side themselves, Stu was just an unstoppable force in the A bomb site, playing aggressively when he needs to, back up closer to A main, and then of course if he got pushed back from there, still in quad, he would still hold on with these like 2v3s in certain situations, just get 2 or 3 kills before finally being traded out. And you know, if he doesn't end up going down, buys enough time at the very least for the cavalry to arrive from the B bomb site.
And now you know what needs to be addressed. Yes, Cloud9 have won, but that doesn't mean that we can't address some of the faults that we were witnessing over on Mirage. It was discussed over on the stage, right? But this, I mean, you are 0 and 28 on your T-side Mirage, as Yanko so eloquently put. Like that is so hard to comprehend. Like how do, I mean, like, can we just make sure we show Jason at this point in time? He is genuinely giggling at the concept of the winning team.
I went out and between maps after that Mirage game, I just went out, I saw Luminosity just outside the doors, and they were just like, we all just had to laugh about it a little bit, because it was just like, what is going on?
Did you see Fur? Fur tweeted like, hey, I wish Cloud9 spoke Portuguese, because Gamers Academy is covering T-side Mirage this week. It's just like, okay.
That's perfect.
It's a good tweet.
It just seemed like mid-game, as soon as one of their players go down on Mirage, they just freeze.
Yep.
They completely freeze. Like they don't know what to do. They pause and they just panic. I think that's the sign of like we're trying to structure too fast and we don't even know like how to handle the mid game and the control middle well. Like it was just weird.
It's just like the entire package of the T side hasn't been put together for Cloud9 yet, because we still even saw it on Cash especially. It was very apparent where they would spread out these defaults and they would do nothing. And even when they gained map control, there were a couple rounds they had mid control on Cash, a couple rounds they had control of cool areas on Mirage to do some things with. But if you're not applying pressure anywhere on the map and you're not forcing any mobility or movement out of the CT side, you're not getting information, you're not putting them in a situation where they can make a mistake and walk into your crosshair, you're not giving your teammates who are in these really nice positions to cut off rotations or anything like that, you're not giving them a chance to do anything. So everyone's just kind of frozen and waiting for something that's not coming because they're not forcing it to happen.
And I mean, where does that criticism kind of primarily lie, right? Just do we look at the entry fraggers of Cloud9? Do we look at, Scar, is he being too passive? Do we look at Stewie? Okay, so it's just a full unit. There's no one particularly to kind of outline.
It's not a criticism because, well, they just had Slummy come in. They need more time, obviously. I mean, this is an issue.
It's like an attitude thing.
Yeah, and it's also been an issue with Cloud9's ever since Sean left. I mean, this is an issue they haven't solved yet. This is why it's such a struggle for them.
It's like a lack of direction, even though they just got more direction.
Yeah, it's happened too soon ago. It hasn't been enough time. Yeah. The big benefit that we did see is that with Slemmy coming in, to me, at least initially, I thought he actually surprised me with how well he did here in this series on an individual basis. But what it has really allowed is nothing to get freed up, and he responded in a big way because he came up with 71 or 72 kills in the series, and that's absolutely necessary. That's what that pickup was mostly for, was to give nothing, just saying, please, I don't want to in-game lead anymore. I want to just be devoted to fragging again. And he needs to be consistent with it, because that's been an issue of his throughout his career. But at least for this series, you see the benefit it can have.
Yeah, it was absolutely sick stuff. Just like on an individual basis, when they are on CT, most definitely, but in particular, they look good. They do truly look good.
On Mirage, they basically started every single round 4v5 with Ska getting a pick mid. Like, they just let him do whatever he wanted, and for some reason, he challenged him every round, and then boom, it was 4v5, and then CLG had to deal with that.
Well, I mean, our third team is gone. That's another team, Bites the Dust. Of course, joining NRG and Splice is now Counter Logic Gaming. I mean, you're going to have to take those wristbands off now, Steph, I'm afraid. No, they'll stay on forever.
Not yet.
Anyway, though, this is the recap. This is where we are currently standing off a full best of 3, and truly it was a rocky ride. Cash starting strong, and then Mirage and Dust2 rounding it out, and that will be the Cloud9 boys then meeting Tempo in their semi-final tomorrow. And up next, you can see here, Group B is going to be determined between Liquid and Selfless. Selfless, I mean, they're proud to be in that position, but just imagine to go from an awful display over in London just a week ago to battling in a semi-final. A huge achievement should they get there, but standing in their way is Team Liquid. It's going to be awesome.
You know what the epic thing waiting at the victory line for Team Liquid is going to be, if they actually beat in that best of 3 too, is is going to be the
Rematch.
rematch against Luminosity in another semifinal.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and we all remember the score of that one.
Please stop.
I mean,
Just stop right
talking
there.
of the score, hey, let's
we
talk
go.
about it. One more plug for you. It's going to tell you all
Definitely
about
could
it.
have been smoother that time, Alex.
It could have been smoother, you're right. But I mean, come on, a 15-round comeback, it haunts their nightmares. Anyway, that was the major. This is not the major. This is DreamHack Austin Sowie Open, and you should be checking out the Score Esports while we take a break. We're going to be bringing you our final game of the day, another best of 3, and it's going to be a big one as we get to see who will be battling versus defending major champions Luminosity. And Cloud9 have secured their spot versus Tempo, but meeting the other Brazilians is yet to be determined. We'll be finding out after the break.